Hi, I'm Salenta, an energy master and channel, and in this video I go over some of the effects you might be feeling when you start bringing more energy down into your body and allowing and opening your energetic channels to receive more. So this can be receiving more energy, but also just receiving more on the physical plane. Each week I do an energy activation and meditation session that you can access for free for 7 days. So if you're tapping into this, in yesterday's meditation, we presenced both our higher self and our ego or personality. And in this video, I want to address some of the things you might be experiencing as you start working with your higher self and balancing the human self or your ego self with your higher self or spirit and soul, and how you can move through it, honoring both and integrating both. Okay, I just wanted to come on and talk a little bit about the energy meditations and about what you may be experiencing after a meditation. I'm making this specifically for the one we did yesterday, as in the meditations we work a lot with the higher self. We work a lot with opening your energy channels to receive more, opening the heart, which is the greatest receptor of energy and transmitter of energy and vibration. Yesterday we presenced our smaller selves in the room. Before we've just been working with our higher selves and it's so energetic and it feels really good. And I just want to speak about what I experienced myself and then also like how to process and move through it. I also spoke to another friend of mine she's an intuitive and a seer, and she's also a stylist. Intuitive stylist seer, really cool to work with someone like that who sees your soul and then styles you accordingly. And she is a friend of mine, and we worked together, and she experienced the meditation last week because her guides were screaming at me have her do this. Well, it opened these channels for her and she was experiencing dizziness and these physical experiences. And so I want to address those. That is in another video that you can watch, and if you're experiencing physical symptoms. But today I want to talk about your emotions and how to handle and move through the emotions that you're experiencing, because we work a lot with that. Your emotions are so important in that they can be debilitating sometimes. And as a light worker, as someone who is impacting this world, has this beautiful message and is here for a purpose, that's often our higher self's mission and the soul's mission. But when you combine that with our personality and the aspects of our personality, even our ego, our lower self, there could be this competition, this war, or this dis-ease between the two. So I just wanted to address that. Yesterday, as we present this, I just felt because as I'm channeling, I'm having the experience of the channeler bringing down my higher self and that energy, but then I'm also witnessing my self, my human self, Salenta. And as I was witnessing Salenta in that moment, when I presenced my ego, that part of me, it was kind of it was a darker energy too. So to balance that in the meditation, to be able to still maintain the channel but experience the vibration that wasn't maybe a match to that channel, was interesting experience. And then as I ended the meditation, my vibration shifted into what my body was, my personality was experiencing, and no longer in the vibration of the channel, which is not usually what happens. I had also just found out about 10 minutes before I did the meditation that someone that I was actually very close with, but a number of years ago, died. And she was very young and left children behind. And even though, when I read it, I said, oh, she's transitioned, she did everything she needed to do on this earth, there's still always that sadness of someone passing along. And she, from my perspective, didn't necessarily lead an easy life. So there was a part of me that was like, oh, she gets to have a break and, do other work on other realms. As I was moving through emotions, and this is what I want to talk about, how do you actually move through your emotions when they come up? It's very important because, like I said, your emotions can get you stuck and can keep you in holding patterns. So by speaking into it. This is the Hendricks Technique, is where I learned it. Gay and Katie Hendricks, who do beautiful work. And it's basically moving physically your body as you bring voice to different aspects of yourself. You know, they call it these personas that we have. We do have all these different aspects of ourselves. There's like the wounded child, there's all sorts of different things. And so I have done work with this and am familiar with it and move through my emotions, like physically, you know, they're housed in different areas. And you'll notice in my work, I say that a lot. Your belly is anxiety and fear. Your chest is grief and sadness. Your eyes are sadness. They'll be burny or itchy. That's sadness. Then there's anger and down your arms and your back. As I was experiencing last night, I just had this like angsty, like anger, frustration, but I felt myself going into depression. And so for me, I know the physical signs when I want to depress myself is I want to watch movies and I want to eat and I want to shut myself down. But I've been working on being more conscious and not watching movies, even for entertainment, just because it was a way that I was shutting down. So I'm being forced, I say that as if I'm not choosing this 1,000%, to be with myself. And that isn't always a pleasant experience. Can you feel the angst of that aspect of myself coming out, that persona? It's like, motherfucker, I don't want to look at this. Anyway, as I started to just feel it and experience it, I realized that I needed to give it voice. Now, when I say this, especially with anger, especially with sadness, there's been a few times in my life where I've done this exercise, the Hendricks Technique, and I've just, as you just move and you allow yourself to feel the anger and you're using, you know, like sounds like, I'm so frustrated, and you just let whatever flow come out. I've had these like huge epiphanies of things that I didn't know were affecting me. Now, I have felt this like anger and angst for kind of a long time, meaning months, but I don't know why. I have nothing to be angry about in my life. My life is fine. My life is fucking good, you know? And so as I just went into it, and it helped that my friend had transitioned, that I found out about it because I had more sadness, like more emotion to go into, because sometimes it's like you can't like dive it down into the surface. You need to have something to access those emotions. And as I just let myself do that, I started speaking, and I was so fucking angry that I was on earth in this all sorts of words, colorful language of why I was here. And there was no part of that aspect of me that wants to be here, and was fucking pissed off that someone else got to leave, but I get to stay. And even just speaking into this, there's a part of me that wants to keep that hidden. You know, we don't want to admit we don't want to be here. Now, it's different than suicide. I've never necessarily had suicidal thoughts, which most people do. And maybe because I know why I'm here, and I know that I'm here for a purpose. I don't need to escape it. And I know that escaping is not going to do anything. I'm just going to be on the other side, and they're going to be like, really? You're back? You didn't do it. And I'm going to be like, yeah, I know. Fuck. What? I need to go back again? Okay. So like suicide is not an option for me personally, because I know what's on the other side. I did have an opportunity to leave a few years ago, right when the pandemic started, and chose to stay instead, just because I'm not finished. I came here for a reason. It doesn't matter that I came here for a reason. It doesn't matter that my soul knows why I'm here. It doesn't matter that I feel so aligned to the work that I'm doing and bringing through this work. None of that matters when this one aspect of myself that's upset and pissed off isn't being heard. And I want to share this with you because I think it's very important, because you doing that meditation tomorrow, you're going to have perhaps a different experience. You're going to, as we presenced your smaller self, and I don't want to diminish it, but it's smaller because it's a smaller aspect of you. Your soul is so much bigger and expansive, and it's one aspect of you, okay? And then also smaller because it has maybe lower vibration to it and not seeing the big picture. But you have to give that space, whatever experience you are going to have with yours, and giving that aspect of yourself, if you want to call it the ego, if you want to call it whatever, these personas that we embody as me being Salenta. Breathe through it, hear it, listen to it, and allow that energy to come forward, because when you suppress it, firstly, it causes depression, and the energy has to move. When you allow the energy to move through you, you're creating space for higher levels of other energy, higher vibrations to come through, especially if you're someone who does have work to do for this world. And if you're someone who knows this place is fucking shitty, but you don't want to experience how shitty it is, so you want to bring in the other good vibes. The more you can address the lower vibes, the more the good vibes can flow through. So let's just breathe into this. Move into it. And the reason we are breathing and moving again is to move the energy so that it's not too heavy, that it's not too much, so you don't have those physical experiences like we spoke about. If you're having physical experiences right now, like dizziness, or like I can feel it moving through and releasing, just catch this video that I made earlier about what's happening and how to move through it. Okay. I love you, I see you, and you get to see you too, even those ugly parts you want to have hidden. As you bring them into the light, you bring yourself into the light. And you get to walk through this earth with more clarity, more purpose, and more compassion for yourself and others. I love you. For more videos on energy activation and streaming and bringing more energy into your life and practices in your daily life and with your clients, subscribe below. And if you'd like to access the energy activation meditations, there's a link in the comments.